The Confederation's Endurance Protocol had never been completed. Not once in its 47-year history. Dr. Kellen, the Vraxian psychologist who designed the simulation, had created what she considered the perfect test of sentient resilience. Candidates were dropped into a hostile virtual environment with minimal resources and one objective: survive until rescue arrived in 3 simulated years. The longest anyone had lasted was the Thorian ambassador Grexel, 8 months before psychological collapse. Most species broke within weeks, their minds unable to cope with the relentless isolation, resource scarcity, and environmental threats. The simulation was designed to identify individuals capable of long-term deep space missions where rescue might take years. It was never meant to be won. Lieutenant Sarah Okonkwo stepped into the neural interface pod with the same calm expression she wore during her morning coffee. The human had volunteered for the protocol after her superiors suggested humanity's newest Confederation members should prove their worth. "The subject is ready," announced Technician Zohar, his antennae twitching nervously. Beginning immersion. Sarah's consciousness materialized on a barren ice planet. Temperature, -60 degrees. Available resources: 1 emergency shelter, 3 days of rations, basic tools, and a malfunctioning comm unit. The simulation would generate random disasters, avalanches, equipment failures, wildlife attacks, designed to erode hope systematically. Dr. Kellen settled into her observation station, expecting to document another gradual breakdown. Instead, she witnessed something unprecedented. Sarah didn't panic. She didn't even pause. Within the first hour, she'd reinforced the shelter using ice blocks and the planet's naturally occurring mineral deposits. By hour 3, she'd created primitive fish traps in a nearby frozen lake, cracking through ice with improvised tools. Hour 5 saw her fashioning warmer clothing from the shelter's excess insulation materials. "She's thriving," whispered Zohar, his voice filled with disbelief. But Sarah wasn't finished. She discovered the planet's geothermal vents and relocated her entire camp, establishing a sustainable heat source. She domesticated a local ice-dwelling creature that the simulation had intended as a threat, using food scraps to create a companionship that eliminated her isolation. By day 2, she'd built a water purification system, expanded her food sources to 7 different types, and created a daily exercise routine to maintain mental health. Dr. Kellen watched, stunned, as Sarah even began decorating her shelter with ice sculptures during her leisure time. On the 3rd day, Sarah did something no one expected. She hacked the malfunctioning comm unit, not to call for rescue, but to override the simulation's environmental controls. Within hours, she'd transformed a hostile ice planet into a survivable habitat with regulated temperature zones. Then she found the simulation's exit protocol buried in the system architecture. 17 hours after beginning, Sarah stood in the facility's debriefing room, slightly disoriented but otherwise unharmed. The observation deck erupted in chaos. "Impossible." Dr. Kellen's translator struggled with her high-pitched Vraxian distress calls. The simulation was mathematically designed to be unbeatable. 3 years minimum survival time. Sarah shrugged. "Your simulation assumed species that evolved on stable, resource-abundant worlds. Humans evolved on Earth, a planet that's tried to kill us with ice ages, supervolcanoes, plagues, and predators for millions of years. We didn't just learn to survive hostile environments." She smiled. "We learned to make them home." Dr. Kellen reviewed the data for weeks afterward. Sarah hadn't broken any rules, she'd simply approached survival with a creativity and adaptability the simulation never anticipated. Humans didn't endure hardship, they engineered solutions. The Endurance Protocol was retired permanently. Not because it was broken, but because humanity had accidentally revealed its true flaw: it was designed by species who saw survival as endurance. Humans saw it as problem-solving. And they'd been solving problems on a hostile rock called Earth for 300,000 years.